5th is World Environment Day. It's a moment to take stock, to review, to revise, and to reinvent the agenda. The question is, and I'm sure all of you are asking this, why are we still struggling to fix the environment? And this is when there is so much more awareness about why environment matters and what do we need to do for the future. This is what I want to talk about today. I'm Sunita Narain. This is my show. And if you have not liked or subscribed to our channel, please do so. Your response is our support. It gives me personally the courage to continue to do what I do, because I believe, as I know you all do, that we have to change our present and our future. The environment is our survival base. This is our agenda for survival. As I discuss this with you, my own city of Delhi, where I'm speaking from, is burning. It is a living inferno. This increased heat, we know, is because of climate change. That fact is now irrefutable. But it is not just about climate change. The heat intensity is equally, if not more, related to the way we are building our cities. It is about the increased use of concrete, the heat that is given out by vehicles on road or the air conditioners on our windows. It is also a fact that we are building without insulation, without ventilation, and without shading to protect us from the burning sun. We are taking away the natural cooling of trees or water bodies. These are the collateral damage of the building the city boom. And this makes heat a killer, quite literally. I'm explaining this today because this is why environment matters. And I'm also saying that it is time we set aside the meaningless question of environment versus development. We know it is humans that have made climate change the catastrophe that it is. We did this for development. It is the emissions from the use of fossil fuels used for energy, that same energy that is critical for economic growth, for livelihood, and for well-being, that has forced temperatures to spiral and weather systems to spin out of control. It is this development that is on the line today. Then we also know that the method of doing this development that has led to situations where we do not have clean water to drink or clean air to breathe. So the environment agenda is about changing ways to do development and not reduce this down to this meaningless anti-development tirade. It is also clear that countries can fix local pollution but still add to global environmental challenges. This is the case of climate change, or even the vast quantities of waste that we see in the world today, which gets exported, or the demand for minerals often found in the same forests of poor communities that are needed for today's green transition. So environmental management remains unsolved, even where we see the sky is blue and the water is clear. This is important as it tells us that every country needs a new approach to environmentalism, and that doing things the old way is either too little or too late. But the one good thing is that we have actually learned a lot over the many decades where we have worked and tried to improve the environment. We need to take these lessons to heart so that we can make the agenda work for the future. First, we have learned that without inclusive and affordable growth, sustainable growth is just not possible. We know this in India to our cost and our shame, that unless we provide mobility for all, we cannot have the right to clean air. Unless there is sanitation for all, we cannot have rivers that flow without pollution. I can go on, but we know today that technocratic approaches will not fix the problem. We need development that will work for all, most of all the poor. So let's be very clear. This is about development that works for everybody, not just the 1%. Second, we know that environment is about natural resources and how we extract these and build economies from it. This is about the old coal gas economy, but also the new solar battery green economy. This new economy also requires extraction for minerals, and even the newer economy or the emerging economy of artificial intelligence that needs water and energy. So it is about natural resources. The environmental question is, how are these resources extracted? Where and for whom? In the past decades, we have overused most of these natural resources. And even when we have learned to do sustainable fishing or sustainable mining or sustainable forestry, it is very limited. More importantly, we have not yet found answers on how local people, rural communities, tribal communities who live on these lands, which are rich with natural resources, will benefit. The only way we know how to do resource extraction is to wipe out these people, take their resources, and make them even poorer. This only adds to insecurity in our world. This only makes it more unsustainable. So in the coming decade, this imbalance of power needs to be fixed. Otherwise, sustainability will never be achieved. Third, environmentalism is about institutions that can bring about this balance between short-term and long-term objective, between the needs of industry or agriculture and the rights of community. We know that every decision has a counter impact. And so it is about decision making which is informed by the best available science. It is about accountable and open structures that allow us to understand what is the cost of development, who pays the cost, and how can this cost be mitigated. But this is where we have fatally and fundamentally gone wrong, both nationally and globally. We have deliberately disabled the institutions for decision making. And this really is why we are not able to fix the environment. And this is why we are where we are today. So on this World Environment Day, let's understand the environmental agenda is critical. It hangs over everything that we value. Agriculture needs to be made productive yet sustainable while putting money in the hands of farmers. Conservation must build the economy of the poor so that they are custodians of the ecosystem. Water security must be ensured even in the times of drought and climate stress. We need to find development pathways that can seriously reinvent growth without pollution and help the world combat climate change. The underlining word is seriously, because as yet we have not done this at the scale we need to. The good news is that we know more today than ever before. On June 5th, 2026, let's agree to mark a new beginning. the start of a new practice of environmentalism, rooted in the politics of inclusive and affordable growth. And if it is inclusive, if it is affordable, it will then be sustainable. It is about an environmentally just future. It is about our future. Let's make it work.